What's going on tonight? What's going on tonight? We're gonna be starting this space up in a second. What's up? I see original up in the space. What's up, original? I see you up in here. Black Valley, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Blocktimus Prime, shout out to you as well. We're gonna be getting this thing cracking tonight. We're gonna be talking about the impact of the 1965 Immigration Act. Glad to hear from you guys. Glad to see you guys. We're gonna be getting this thing flowing and going in just a second. Can you hear me, original?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, guys. I hope everybody's doing okay tonight. Shout out, I see Ray up in the space. My people coming in on YouTube. For all my people coming in on YouTube, guys, make sure y'all click that notification bell. Go ahead and share, subscribe, like, leave a comment for the nice broadcast. Shout out to my boy Professor as well, too. I see Professors up in the spot. Shout out to Tata coming up in here. About to go ahead and get this thing rolling, y'all. We about to go ahead and talk about the impact, the legacy, and everything that's come along with the M5 guys. So shout out to all y'all coming up in here. About to go ahead and get it started. Give me 1 second. Professor, I know you're gonna be coming up here to speak tonight as well, too. So shout out, I see DJ over there holding it down on YouTube for right now. Professor Original, what's up? What's going on? Andre, what's shout out to you as well, too, man. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Happy Monday to you. I know the work week is starting back over and everybody's up. I'm glad to be home, but shout out to all you guys coming up in here as well, too. So I see we got a couple speakers coming up here. We got the Black Vanguard and we got Professor coming up here as well, too. What's up? I see Ray coming up here as well, too. So shout out to all our people. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and y'all share this space out for the night as well, too, man. Y'all go ahead and share this out. Because this ought to be an interesting conversation going on tonight. So shout out to all you guys. Mark, I know you requested to speak, but then I don't know if you got knocked down. Okay, I see you now up here. Black Vanguard, go ahead. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? What's up to the co-host, the host, Newstoter Original Blood. Yeah, this issue about immigration impact of the USA 50 years later, well, according to, I would say it decimated and destroyed our communities of America, because you look at what happened in places like California, because I got family that lives in California. I got family that lives in Los Angeles. Also, I got family that lives in the Bay Area.
Vanguard, you got a headset on? You got it.
I got my AirPods on.
If you could take them off, because it's a little echo, so we can hear you a little bit clear. If you could take it off, it'll be definitely greatly appreciated.
Okay, yeah, give me 1 second.
I'll give you a second. Go ahead. Shout out. I see the room is starting to fill up, guys. Go ahead and y'all send this out. Shout out to my boy Nightfall over there on YouTube. And shout out to all my people on YouTube as well. Guys, go ahead. We're going to have us an interesting discussion tonight. Go ahead. You got it, Vanguard.
Yeah, I see how the impact on our community, how what happened in places like California, how they used to be all black people in California, especially all throughout San Diego, Los Angeles, Oakland, the Bay Area, how the influx of immigration, how they put the sanctuary city stuff, how they impact the black community. Now you go to places like San Diego, Southeast San Diego, Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco, areas like that. Black folks have been pushed out these cities due to gentrification. Also, you go to New York City, like the Bronx, like Flatbush. That used to be a majority black American area too, now no more. Queens, Jamaica, Queens, they used to be all black Americans. They ain't no more. They pushed all black Americans out there. And see, when these immigrants come over here, they got a takeover mentality. They're not trying to share their power with black Americans. They trying to run us about it. Same thing in Florida, in Miami, particularly Miami-Dade County. You can't do anything on a political level unless you get permission from the Cubans and the Haitians, Jamaicans down there in Florida. Same thing in Minnesota, while the Somalis over there. See, the black bourgeoisie, boule class, though, they deceived us and lied to us, which is the D9s, the Cobras, the NARCs, the NAACPs, and the Urban Leagues. They lied to our people for so long that immigration is good for our people. It's to our detriment. See, if we let the talented bourgeoisie Negroes tell us that immigration is to our benefit, the places you see in California, New York, Florida, and Minnesota is going to happen all over the country if you let the black bourgeoisie Bourgeois class dictate what goes on in our city, states, and communities, though, because they literally lead us to a burnt house, like the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said. And also, you got historians like Dr. Clark Anderson and Dr. Henry Clark said immigration is to our detriment. That's all I got to say for now.
All right, appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Ray. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, everybody, tonight? So I'm just going to be real quick. So the immigration impact on the U.S. 59 years later, I think, as the brother said, it has been to our detriment. And I also think it needs to be revised if it can be. Because back then, we brought them in because we needed them to be reinforcements for us during the civil rights era. And plus, it was just the right thing to do. We were suffering, they were suffering, and we felt like, again, that we could bring them in and they could be allies for us. But in the 59 years since, it's clear as day that they have their own agendas and they're not here to actually work with Black Americans. Hence the reason why they have slurs for us, Akatas, careers, and things like that, that they call us. So in my opinion, I just think it needs to be revised. We as Black Americans need to really sit back and look at this. And you can see it's not working in our favor. I pose a question to this room. How does them being over here benefit us at all? And I land there.
All right. Appreciate that, Ray. Let me go ahead and get to Mark. Mark, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Good. Asking about the impact of this, we got to get to the point of what we're going to do about it. And not just the Naturalization Act, but immigration dating back to right after slavery was about what? Replacing us. Go look at the Davis-Bacon Act. The Davis-Bacon Act was where the Democrat Party / unions, one and the same, approached two congressmen, and there the Davis-Bacon Act was passed. Why? Because we were the best tradesmen. We basically out of slavery.
You there, Mark? Hey, can you hear me, Mark?
Him too. I can hear him.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't hear you for a second, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'll just take back a couple seconds. Well, the Davis-Bacon Act is where the unions, who were started by the Democrats / the union, Democrats / unions are one and the same. They're immigrants, Italians and Irish, along with their partnership with the Zionist Jewish community. You look at the relationship between Lucky Luciano and Maya Lance. That was about immigration and turning the workforce over to the immigrant population that was being brought into this country. No different than in the 60s with the Naturalization Act on up until right now. And so we're far beyond what it impacted us. We are very clear that it has and continues to do so. What are we going to do about it is where we are at this stage. Our mayor of this city is talking about bringing another 700,000 of them to this city. Knowing that this will decimate us further. And so we better get us into just be just supremacists as every one of those groups are. They're not here to coexist with you. They're here to replace you, like Dr. Claude Anderson told us 25 years ago. They're here to supplant you.
All right, appreciate that, Mark. Real quick, I want to touch up on this article that was curated on the Newstoter.com platform. It was it's from Fox News, so it has a huge slant on it as well too. So let me just go ahead and say that. And there's parts of the article I agree with. There's other parts that it's just hearing a white man cry and whine as well too. So I want to go ahead and touch up on this article real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get to the hands. We'll get Professor Original Black Vanguard as well too. It says immigration changes pushed by Democrats have changed America. Politics is complicated, and it's rare that we can trace an abrupt break in American society to a single act or a single piece of legislation. But the Hart-Celler Immigration Act of 1965 fundamentally transformed America's immigration policy, and it's arguably one such piece of transformative legislation. It took us from being almost a uniformly white and black country at the time of its passage to a fully multi-ethnic and increasingly ethnically fractious country today. What is clear is that post-1965 immigration boom, rather than serving as a continuation of long-standing American policy, was a spectacular of the policy of the last 6 decades. America's government has created a new American people. Democrats who have not won the white vote since 1964 simply elected another people through immigration policy and tagged any white person who complained as racist. Given the enormous changes it would engender, it is inevitable that the Democrat leaders would lie about the immigration bill before putting it forward in 1965. The bill that we signed today is not a revolutionary bill, President Lyndon Johnson said. It does not affect the lives of millions. It will not reshape the structure of our daily lives. Massachusetts Democrat Senator Ted Kennedy claimed the bill will not flood our cities with immigrants. It will not upset the ethnic mix of our society. It will not relax the standard of emissions. It will truly not cause American workers to lose their job. None of this turned out to be true. A more accurate assessment was given by North Carolina Democrat Senator Sam Ervin, who argued it was not possible to design an immigration policy that did not discriminate. So why not discriminate on behalf of those who made the country? So I guess he's talking about why not discriminate on behalf of white folks. The American Legion said it is in the best interest of our country to maintain the present makeup of our cultural and societal structure. A Harris poll in May 1965 showed that by 58% to 24% margin, Americans oppose loosening immigration laws. But who cares what the American people, in particular, what white Americans thought? So like I said, it's all about how white people feel as well, too, with this article. To be fair, even many of the bill's proponents profess to be surprised by how radical it proved in practice, how its family reunification provisions intended to help white ethics led to a chain migration, particularly from Mexico, as my immigration policy quickly took on a dramatically different character than had been promised. The left unsurprisingly shifted radical tactics in 1968, just a few years after the bill's passage. The New York Times reported that the extended change in immigration because of the new law had surprised nearly everyone, but that it was unlikely to be modified because congressmen don't want to be looked at as racist. Even in the late 1960s, the left's racial blackmail tactics were working. Illegal immigration did not begin in mass until the 1970s, and its history is even fraught. We're constantly told that illegal aliens do not commit more crimes than natives, another carefully chosen anti-white statement. Many whites are not concerned with whether illegal aliens commit more crimes than the current legal residents. They're concerned with whether they commit more crimes in their own communities of white Americans, which they almost certainly do. The fact that there are non-white populations in the United States that commit more crimes and thus raise the average should not convince whites that immigration makes them safer. By the 1990s, even moderate new Democrat rhetoric on the immigration was changing, as former President Bill Clinton said in a 1998 address at Portland State. Today, largely because of immigration, there's no majority race in Hawaii or Houston or New York City. Within 5 years, there will be no majority race in our largest state, California. In a little more than 50 years, there will be no majority race in the United States. These immigrants are energizing our culture and broadening our vision of the world. They are renewing our most basic values, reminding us all what it truly means to be an American. Sounds kind of like the Great Replacement. Did the supermajority of white Americans ask for this? Nobody cared. Immigration has had many political consequences for America. The Democrats have used the polarization of the African-American voters in concert with mass immigration to do something remarkable. They have achieved electoral preeminence, but consistently losing the votes of the supermajority ethnicity. The supermajority has ranged from an 89% white electorate and former President Jimmy Carter's victory in 1976 to 67% white electorate in the 2020 victory of Joe Biden. Over this time, the Democrats have won 6 presidential elections and the popular vote in 2 additional elections without once winning the vote of the white voters. There is no modern multiracial democracy of which I'm aware where a party has achieved electoral success while perennially losing the votes of the supermajority ethnicity. This perhaps more than any other explains the power of the hard selling in creating an anti-white America. The mass growth of illegal immigration has created another problem. The representation of illegal immigrants in our census, they are counted just like anyone else, has led to the creation of the so-called rotten boroughs, a term originally used to describe very small constituencies in England that elected members of parliament and were eliminated in the Reform Act of 1832. These unequal districts amount to a modern 3/5 compromise in which the citizens of the states and districts with large numbers of illegal aliens and other non-citizens are given disproportionate political power relative to those in districts with more citizens. While the Supreme Court theoretically established a one-person, one-vote rule in Baker versus Carr, which set the stage for forcing states to create congressional districts with equal populations in the name of fairness, somehow the court and the media has not considered the unequal representation from illegal aliens to be a problem. Overall, we have more than 45 million illegal aliens in America, 88 million if you also count the children of immigrants, up from just 8 million or so in 1960 of note. The number of immigrants from Europe and Canada has declined by almost 25% during that same period. Almost all of the rest come from areas where immigration had previously been minimal or non-existent. Indeed, since 1990, the diversity visa program welcomes 55,000 immigrants each year from countries that are chosen precisely for their lack of connection with historical immigration patterns of the United States. Some entrants on this visa were committed to terrorist activities, yet the Democrats have staunchly opposed eliminating the program, even when the number of visas was offset by an unequal increase of visas in other categories. Filling America with people with little or no ties to the historic American nation is an article of liberal ideology. The results among America's children, less than half are non-Hispanic white. Within approximately 2 decades, America as a whole is projected to become a major minority. The Great Replacement isn't a conspiracy theory. It is, as 2024 GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy observed, just a basic immigration policy of the Democrats. So like I say, there were some things that I agreed with, but at the same time, it sounded to me like it was a white dude up here whining and everything else as well, too, because he felt that white people are being discriminated against, that white people are the victim, that white people are the ones that had it so hard with the actual immigration and everything else. When we already know from the raw numbers and data that it is shown time and time again that it is black men, especially the unskilled labor black market, unskilled black labor market in this country, black men in particular, the ones who suffer the most from illegal immigration. But we have in this article, like I say, this was from Fox and it was also curating the platform. This is a man that's sitting up here basically telling you that, hey, because we are the supermajority, we should rule. You know, we did all of the immigration things that hell, it's hurting us as white people more than anybody else. And if we say anything about it, we're racist. Yet it was white men in particular that went ahead and allowed all of this to happen. So while they're sitting up here saying that, hey, you know what, this is discriminating against us and we're the victims and we're having such a hard time or whatever, it was once again white men, whether it be Democrats or whoever, put the pen to paper and made this happen. So, and their numbers, they can talk about their numbers going down and this and that or whatever, and the loss of power and the non-white Hispanics. It is black people, in particular black American men, who have suffered the most with illegal immigration in this country. Not the labor market, not the unskilled white male labor market, but the unskilled black male labor market is the one that have suffered from illegal immigration. Let me go ahead and get to I'm gonna get to Professor Original. The Black Vanguard was up here, but I don't see him. But go ahead, Professor, you got it.
Thank you, there, Newstoter, and shout out to everybody in the space. Peace, power, and reparations. Newstoter, let's just get to the meat of this. The Immigration Act from 1965 really is a white supremacy policy. it very, very much helps white people, man, because they are trying to replace black people. Okay, this whole thing of white men crying about it's against them and it's hurting them. It's not hurting them. You're the majority group in this country that hold the power. You hold 90% of the wealth in this country. So the group that's being hurt by all of this is Black Americans, and unfortunately, Black Americans have played their part in it by continuing to vote for such party as the Democrats that supports this mess. So it's a fiasco. Now, as Black Americans, we got to stand up. We got to be against trying to hug other groups and putting ourselves out there on the front line for this. What's this shit that's going on these college campuses? The pro-Palestinian shit.
Don't forget the language, Professor. Language. Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. Why are we supporting this? Why do we see black faces out there on these college campuses on the front line for other groups, such as this pro-Palestinian protest, and you're out there getting your head beat and getting arrested for groups that don't care about you? They're not trying to share anything with you. This is what is hurting Black Americans. We continue to try to support other groups that don't support us. So along with white supremacy policies and, of course, our own stupid voting within our own group, it's come back to bite us. And we have to turn that around. We cannot be out here supporting everybody else anymore. We can't be all hugged up trying to do kumbaya with everybody else. We have to start doing kumbaya within our own. And I'm going to land right there.
All right. Appreciate that, Professor. Let me go ahead and get to original, then we'll get to you, Mark, and anybody else that wants to speak. Come on up here.
All right, Newstoter. Like you said, this white boy just won. Now, he may have forgotten Ronald Reagan did like an executive order or something, or the Republican passed it or whatever, when they did that amnesty deal back in 1987, and they allowed all these illegal aliens to stay over here in this country. See, they forget. See, like I always tell people, you got sometimes these black Republicans, they would always cite that the Republicans helped to get us out of slavery. But then when I was talking to one, I said, well, wait a minute now. Let's look at the 1877 presidential election where, what's his name? Oh, gosh, I just forgot his name. Anyway, I can't call the guy's name. What was that boy's name? Anyway, I almost got it. Anyway, he pulled the troops out of the South, which was a Republican, which basically put black folks back in slavery. Then you look at that 1912 election cycle where William Taft, Rutherford behaved, but it went for 1877. But in 1912, William Taft had made a statement about voting should be based on educational levels. And so Du Bois had the black folks to vote for Woodrow Wilson, who was a staunch racist. And when he got in there, he started firing black folks that was working in civil service positions. So this whole thing about this immigration and the Democrat Republican, they both hate black folks. Let's just make that clear. And so, and when you look at this this immigration thing, now some of our people thought that these black folks coming over here would be an ally. They have never been an ally to us. As I said previously, our great scholar and elder, Dr. John Carlos, he went to high school with this guy named Dennis Dice. And he said this in a video. And Dennis would say to him, I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. And when they went to the same college in Texas, they were supposed to have a black United Front. But Dennis coded it up to the coach. And then you look at like people like that degenerate Luther Campbell. Yeah, we all saw how all that the majority of that degenerate music and rap and hip hop, it came from those degenerate Caribbeans. And what they would do is they would go out there and do all that degenerate stuff, and then it got blamed on Black Americans. And people need to understand that because we we've never done anything to anyone. But these people, when they come over here with this white supremacist mindset, and they believe what white people tell them about us, and they help them attack us. That's what they got us. Because this immigration bill, we have never benefited from that. Never. And all these other black immigrants, wherever they come from, they look at us with disdain. And you got some of these old broke Pan-Africans and these other folks that want to sit up here and try to defend this. And a lot of these black Democrats, they kept pushing that we are a nation of immigrants. See, I look at it from the standpoint of we didn't always have the information that we have now, because they were making us believe that we were immigrants when basically we were not. We were already in this country before the Indians got here. And so that's that lie that they've always promoted. And like Professor said, these old degenerate black Democrats will sit up here and vote for any and everything, and they don't look at how it's going to affect black Americans. And so that's what we have to really look at. But I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with some of these white folks, but they only want, they see how it has had an effect on them, because this white guy I used to work with, his family had a drywall business. But when the illegal aliens started coming over there undercutting them, that business folded because people started hiring them because they was cheaper than they were. So, like I said, this whole thing, it's been a sham. It has always been part of the war on Black America, and it will always be part of the war on Black America, because and see now, a lot of these black immigrants, they're finding out now that they may, as D.D. King said, they might have made you move too soon. They're finding out now that they are being discriminated against. But see, since they wanted to attack us, that ain't our problem. What's that? Brother made a shirt with a squirrel on it with a cup said, "Hold your own nuts." And so we just have to look at it from that standpoint. But I'm like Professor. I'm trying to align with other black people of like mindset. I cannot sit here and depend on these other people, because they will turn on us at the drop of a hat. And as far as what the professor was talking about, the Palestinian thing, both the Israelis and the Palestinians are anti-black racists. So that ain't my fight, and I'll land with that.
Hey, can I respond?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go on because you got your hand up, but go ahead.
So look, Richard, listen, man. As men, we don't worry about no other men being racist. What we do is meet them with the same energy. And so when our women and children hear us, it's like a sound of weakness coming from us. I don't give a fuck about no white boy being racist. They supposed to be about their people.
Real quick, Mark, I just muted your mic, but I'm trying to tell everybody, y'all got to watch the cursing in here tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay, my bad.
You got it.
So, do we expect for them to be anything but supremacists when it comes to their people? No. Our problem is we're not supremacist enough when it comes to areas where we have strongholds. They supposed to do exactly what they're doing. We are our problem because we want to coexist. We want to go along to get along. You feel me? And get in position and look out for everybody but our people first. Nobody does that. No conscious people will do that. These immigrants come here with that takeover spirit because it's about their people first. They're not here to cry about you. They're not here to ally with you. Now, I want to speak to the point when you delineate. Stop calling them white. They're not white. They're Italians, Irish, Jews. They're not all one. Now, the mistake that they made was they thought that bringing those other groups over here would just only benefit them, and which it did to a certain degree. But the stronger those Irish and Italians got, guess what they started doing? Not only did you think that they just took over black areas? No, they took over some of those those areas of those that came here from the beginning that brought us here in slavery. That's what you hear them speaking on. And they're correct about that. It happened to them in California. They are not the same people, bro.
So, Mark, you don't look at because I know that from different nations in Europe, but when we think about white people, we pretty much think about all Europeans as being white. So you're saying that the Irish, the Italians, all these people coming over from Europe, you don't consider them to be white?
I'm saying January 6th, were they chasing black people? No. It was the globalists and the nationalists, like you see going on right now, going at it with one another. And the globalists represent those that are immigrant first. Now, they all are immigrants now. But there's some that are immigrant first, and there's some who are America first. So the America first, Trump was calling the America first ones to say, hey, get to Washington, D.C., they're trying to conquer the country. And so, and that's what you see now with them using the justice system against him. He doesn't represent the immigrant first ones. He represents the America first ones. We're not getting it because we so caught up in old rhetoric. Listen to old people that never did anything in the last 50 years about this stuff. And so they feed you this old fear. No. These people are not the same, bro. I live in a segregated city. The Irish don't like the Italians don't like the Greeks, and they segregate. They don't live in the same neighborhoods or anything. And I can take you and show you how separated they are and segregated they are. As a matter of fact, when it comes to Republicans in Chicago, Republicans don't have no power here. The Irish and Italians got together a long time ago and ran them out of Chicago. When you look at Mount Greenwood, that's about the only area that you can go in and see a little small pocket of Republicans. The rest of them got ran to the collar counties. But we so racist in our minds when we deal with every situation that we don't take time to stop and break this thing down. We don't practice supremacy like other groups. See, I'm a black supremacist. I don't believe in no black and brown, people color, and none of that. I'm a man. My job is to protect and provide. I don't like nobody but my people. I can do business with anybody. But when it comes down to it, it's my people first. And I respect those people that believe in their people first. They're supposed to be that way. That's what a man's job is to do. Go take their part and take care of his people. Not running around here talking about well, we all should get along and these people are racist. They're supposed to be. When you gonna be a racist? When you gonna be a supremacist? When you gonna have a takeover spirit? The way these Jamaicans come in and went to Florida, the Haitians and the Cubans, them people came to Florida with a takeover mindset and they burned people out. Black people, they burned us out, killed our people, and took it. That's what men supposed to do. Not cry about them being racist. Men wait on them to raise up, and then you put their motherfucking ass, you put them back in a box. You put them in a box when they rise up. That's what you do to them.
So let me ask you a question.
Mark,
go ahead, original.
Mark, that's why I cited Rutherford B. Hayes, who pulled the troops out. Okay, he was white folks. Rutherford B. Hayes, who pulled the troops out of the South during Reconstruction. Then you had William, Rutherford B. Hayes was a Republican. And then you had William Taft, who was a Republican. That's what I'm saying about. There is no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans because then you had, when Du Bois had the black folks to vote for Woodrow Wilson, who was a staunch racist and a Democrat. So I'm looking at them, okay, as they all white because I tell you what, all of these people, whether they be what you call white, Italian, German, or whatever, they will all unite and come after black folks.
And we'll unite and come after them.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to think. You don't worry about what they'll do. You worry about what you're going to do in response to what they're going to do. They say,
I already knew what I was doing. What I'm saying is, I'm looking at them as they look at us. See, they see this, although they know there's a difference between the Black American, the Black Caribbean, and the African. They know there's a difference. But see, they play that divide and conquer, where they want to come in and pitch to these Black immigrants that they are better than we are. And see, I remember back in the 70s. See, when like in the 60s, when Black people started getting elected into these offices, but in the 70s, you start seeing these white liberals. They started telling Black people, well, you don't want to always promote all this Black stuff. You want to be more open, more inclusive, and you can attract more people, to your cause, and they brainwash them. And that's why we are where we are today, because they didn't keep that same Black spirit. And so they bought into the fact that we were all immigrants, and Black Americans are not immigrants, you see, and they bought into that. That's where that came from. And so, but like I'm saying, is that I see the Democrats and the Republicans are being the same. They're anti-Black racist, and I mean that's just me.
So if I can, let me say this, because you say you come up in the 70s. See, the difference in you and your parents. See, I know I'm old enough to know your parents. At 50 years old, I clearly know your parents and what they taught us, as opposed to what you all learned from going amongst when y'all integrated and went amongst when they let you come downtown. Mentally, you lost your mind. And I'm not beating up on you individually. I'm saying mentally, when y'all were able to go into downtown, you lost your mind. You came back to the community, but mentally, you never came back. Your parents were talking about ownership, Black first. It was y'all that went into corporate America and government and thought y'all had arrived. It was like the Barack Obama colorless society way back then mentality. And that's where y'all been since then. The first racist I ever met was my grandma. Not no white person. I don't give the Irish, the chap. My grandmama was the first racist I met. And she taught us how to deal with them. Respect those that respect you. Those that are violent towards you, you be twice as violent towards them. If they start shooting, you start killing. This is what my grandmama told us as little children. And don't y'all go over there in Chickasaw Garden, because they do something to one of y'all, we're going to go over there and we're going to get to killing all of them. So don't go over there, and they children are going to come over here. But when y'all got a chance to go in those universities, y'all went and got brainwashed. You weren't educated. You went and they brainwashed you. And you sold all your parents' businesses, all the land that they had, you sold it all up, partying and getting high and all those things. Our grandparents, they didn't do that. They didn't teach us it's all about me. We never heard them say that. We heard it from y'all. You know what I mean? You feel me? So we coming back. We going back to what our grandparents were talking about. That's where we are right now. That's why we're not here to cry for no. I don't care if they're from Africa. Them Africans are African that sold us no different than those that bought us from them. I don't separate them. Straight up. As a matter of fact, they taught the European supremacy. The European didn't teach them. They were already enslaving and selling slaves and all that kind of stuff. The knowledge, wisdom, math, and science didn't come from Europe. It came from the dark skins.
Right. But see, let me share this with you. They didn't get me confused. I was in grammar school and stuff in the 60s and 70s. Now, when schools were integrated, and what was it, 68, 69, after Dr. King was murdered. And when we got to those white schools, some of them white kids, I think they thought the Black children were going to be like the civil rights people. But we showed them otherwise. We beat the hell out of them. And when I got to junior high, we had them white boys so scared we had to dress out for PE. And if any of them bothered us, they already knew that they came in that locker room, they were going to get a beat down. And it was even when I was in the 6th grade, there was 2 white guys that came up from the high school. They were like a teacher's aide or something. And so they tried to jump on us because we were beating up these little white boys. And I told them, I said, I'm gonna get you tomorrow. You just watch and see. So I went home and I told Bill, do you have a class with so and so? He said, yeah. Another one said, oh yeah, I'm in PE with so and so. And then when they came back that next day, they had got the crap beat out of them. And when we had to beat up on the flat boy because he thought he was gonna get smart with us, he was like, they're fighting me. And we beat that butt. No, we didn't take that stuff. Now there were some people that did. If they hit us, we went after them. There was no playing around where we were gonna if an older white guy was at our school and did something to us, we made sure he got a beat down the next day when he got back to the high school. That's how we handled ours. We wasn't going around trying to we only integrated because that's what the civil rights people had fought for. So it wasn't that we lost our mind. We still had our mind intact as being black. You know, we didn't give up, well, at least I didn't give up my blackness when schools integrated. Oh, no.
Which is what y'all parents were talking about before Gandhi got a hold of people like Dr. King, right? Tell them what y'all parents was really teaching y'all about taking care of family. You know, when we used to ask our grandmama, Dr. King got killed because he didn't have one of these, and she'd pull that 38 out. She'd always be wiping on. That killed him because he didn't have one of these. You know.
Well, see, here's the issue. There was
Hey, and real quick, original, because I want to get the mail too. So go ahead, and then we're gonna get it the mail.
Go ahead, Mel.
Hey, what's going on? $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Shout out to the room, everybody.
What's up, Mel?
Hey, what's going on, Newstoter? Yeah, I'm riding Mark King Carter's coattail because you're saying what needs to be said. That's the energy we need to be on, and that's where we need to really stay focused. Because what's happening is these immigrants are coming over here, and you're absolutely right. They are born for what they know, what benefits them, what they want, and they're getting what they want easier than we as Black Americans, as citizens, as the individuals that built this country. They're getting it easier than we can get it. So I feel like when we have these conversations, you know, we need to really stay like right in the current time as it relates to how we're going to go about getting what we need. And it is at this point where we have to be, we have to focus more on working with, you know, with ourselves, building ourselves up, doing the, as Claude Anderson has stated, and I know I covered it, you know, the integration where we are building ourselves up and putting a hand down to help ourselves come back up. That's where our focus has to be. That's want to make a living and support their families and their communities. They're going to have to get it from somebody other than Black Americans. And the only way that's going to happen is we quit patronizing them. We quit being their customer base. We quit being their source of revenue. This is why they can come into our neighborhoods and just get fat, because we keep allowing it. And I'm really surprised. I would really like to see like national numbers on how many Black Americans are actually supporting this Palestinian-Israeli conflict, because I feel like it's not that many. There's a handful of Black Americans, or Black folks, if you will, because we ain't even got that all the way clear, that are like, oh yeah, pro-Palestinian, but, you know, are they Black looking? But we don't know whether it's Black American. So I would like to have like actual numbers on who's doing it, because I feel like we're not on the global, on a national level, we're not really supporting it like that. And I'd like to know. And if that's the case, that's what needs to get out there, so we can increase people continuing to not support that. because it doesn't benefit us either way. And I saw the clip where I guess they're trying to blame the lady. I can't remember all the context. Maybe somebody else on here knows. Where some meeting they had, and the lady was like, some Israel lady was like, the problem with Israel now is these young black youth. Like, what do we got to do with anything going on over there like that? So stop the madness. So I just think we're going to have these conversations. We need to stay focused on what's going on right now today, what our direction needs to be, and like what Mark is saying, we need to keep that energy. They are, they're taking care of theirs. We got to take care of ours. They're not going to come patronize our mom and pop shops. They're not going to come and look out for us in any type of way. So we need to make sure we are intentionally not increasing their revenue or being any level of a revenue base for them. And I'll land it right there.
Thank you, Mel. Let me say this part right here, because based off of the article, because we know that the Immigration Act of 1965 is about to hit the 60-year mark next year. But at the time, Johnson and a number of other Democrats said at the time that, this is not going to reshape America. It's not going to change society as we know. It made it basically seem like it was almost just be a drop in the bucket type thing. And we see now that, almost 60 years later, that's not true at all. We see that the entire, as the article said, like I said, there's a lot with that article I didn't agree with, because it was a white man that was basically just crying, saying, hey, look, woe is me, look at me. But we see that at the time in 1965, the country, for the most part, was a black and a white nation. Now, the issue with immigration, and you've always had, even back then and before then, 1800s, you've always had a significant portion of white folks that were against immigration. They were against people from Europe immigrating over here, which were the people that was immigrating over here, because they thought it was competition. And I'm talking about, you had Irish people that were born in this country, didn't want Irish people from Ireland to come over here because they thought it was competition, and they felt that that they didn't really care about America and this and that or whatever. So you've always had an issue with immigration, even with white folks. But now it's to the point now that, hey, like that article said, and man's basically saying he feels threatened as a white person. He feels threatened not because of the immigrants that come over here looking like him, or because of the immigrants of different shades and different colors. And that great replacement theory is real, but also when people keep talking about the birth rates and this and that or whatever, because one thing people keep talking about, 50 years from now, the country's going to be, there's not going to be a majority of this, majority of that or whatever. It's going to be a melting pot. Well, we already getting to that point. So you got a bunch of white people in this country feel like, hey, what's going to happen with white people? Are we going to be pretty much mixed up by all of these other different groups and everything like that as well too? So that's one thing to definitely look at and to think about as well too. Like exactly, in the next 40, 50 years, and I know a lot of us in this space probably won't be here in 50 years from now. The vast majority of us in this space won't be here 50 years from now. But like I say, I definitely think you have to do something with illegal immigration. What they're going to do, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if Trump alone, because people say, well, if Trump gets in office, Trump's going to do this, he's going to do that, whatever. He can only do it with the Congress. So it'll be interesting to see what Trump can actually do as well, too. But also, and you don't hear people ever talk about it, you don't hear people talk about actually curbing and kind of, I'm not going to say stop. They're never going to stop immigration in this country. They're just not. But even legal immigration, you wonder, exactly what's going to be looked at in terms of, kind of halting that as well, too, because there's a number of people that's coming to this country. But when it's Europeans that's immigrating here, you don't hear any kind of kickback whatsoever. Now, if it's people from Asia, people from Latin America, the Caribbean, you kind of get a pushback. But when you got people coming up here, coming from Europe and stuff like that, nobody really says anything. You don't hear the Republicans saying anything. You don't hear anybody else saying anything as well, too. It's like they don't have an issue with more and more white folks coming over here, but they do have an issue with these other groups coming over here as well, too. So I kind of want to get what you think about that, Mark, because like I said, they don't have an issue with other people that look like them coming over here, but they do have an issue with people that don't look like them coming over here.
Well, quite naturally. And see, when those people come from the places that they find with, they move them into their areas. Problem is, when these others come to this country, they're trying to take over our area. Okay? And so we should be making noise, which is what we did when the mayor decided that, okay, well, I'm going to put to Venezuela. No, you're not going to just put them over here. It's not going to happen. We segregated for a reason because we don't like one another. And at the core of us, we believe in supremacy. That's why you got Greek town, Little Italy, Chinatown. Again, hey, they're supposed to speak up for their people. But break it down, bro. WASP are not Irish or Italians, And go back in history when you look at the Protestants and the Catholics who always went at it with one another. What are the Irish and Italians and even the Hispanics? They all are Catholics, bro. And so we are our problem because we don't teach supremacy and we definitely don't put it into practice. But guess who does? Guess who do it? Everybody but us. The Jamaicans do it in New York. The Haitians and Cubans do it in Florida. The Hispanics do it in Hispanics and Asians do it in Cali. We want to be Christians about every situation. Well, I'll say to you like this. We are giving the future of our children away just to be a friend of somebody else. When we push, or whether we pushing it or looking the other way, when it comes to immigration, you're giving the future of your children away. You're showing just how much you don't give a damn about the future of your children. You will take your gay rights, your women's rights, and all that, and hook up with the very Democrat Party and these immigrants and undermine your own people and those children because your selfish ass don't care nothing about nobody but yourself.
Real quick, I see Polo Style says, but they all come together under white supremacy to go against us. So Polo saying that even though these people, quote unquote, aren't like you say that they're different ethnic groups of Europeans, they all conspire and they all come together when it's something against black people.
And the problem is we don't all come together and go against them when they come together. We doing exactly what we're doing right now, talking about they'll come together. Why won't we ever have a conversation about us coming together to develop our own areas? Coming together when they start talking about coming together. I mean, why are you worried about them coming together?
But don't you feel don't you feel that was one of the things that the black people in the 60s, they thought that by actually trying to by supporting immigration, a lot of them felt that, hey, we're going to actually have people over here that's going to have our backs. We're going to have some allies over here that look like us.
Dr. Claude Anderson said that when he was talking to the Urban League and NAACP and all these groups, he was warning them that these people were not going to come over here and ally with us. These were our teachers. Dr. Claude Anderson, and what's the boy? He moved to California from Chicago. These people were telling us. Dr. Claude Anderson said that he told them these people are not coming here to ally with us. They're coming here because they want to be in America. They're coming here. They're gonna come here and replace us. But the Pan-Africanists didn't care because the Pan-Africanists never been paying Detroit, paying Chicago. They've never been paying us. And until we separate from them, leave them on their own. Them WB Du Bois, the Bows, leave them on their own. They say they're the talented 10, then you run into a battle, your talented 10, you fight it on your own thing. Fight it on your own. I bet they know how to stay in their place then. I bet they know where their place is then. We've been letting them get away with what they've done. And so when it's time to come together, man, they always are over there somewhere. 9 times out of 10, that's probably what happened down in Tulsa. They probably weren't connected with the grassroots people way over there with their little up in their neighborhood. I'm not gonna say that that's exactly what happened, but how did that little small group get attacked? Is it because they were over there by themselves?
Okay, real talk. So we got no taxation up here. No taxation. How you doing tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, me too. But you know what? Life is hard. Most of the time. Hey, DJ. Hey, Original. Hello to everybody in the room. What's up, Professor?
What's up, ma'am? How you doing?
Pretty good. And my probably related cousin, Isla. We found out we both got kinfolk in Bunkie, Louisiana. And Bunkie ain't but a blip on the radar, so we got to be related. Here's the thing, and I think the distinction has to be made because it's an important conversation, especially during this campaign. I remember back in 1970.
With the taxation, could you turn your TV down a little bit? We hear it in the background.
Let me turn it down. I didn't know my phone was that good with the gears. Hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I think an important distinction has to be made. I remember in 1972, when I was much younger, my father said to me, and everybody in the room that knows me and people that saw the website and all that kind of stuff know that my father's a Black Republican, long-time Black Republican, always been a Black Republican. He said to me, well, they don't need you anymore. He said they got some new knackers. I think that's what we're supposed to say. They got some new knackers in town. And I didn't understand what that meant. And that meant that there was a huge push at that time from the Democratic side to bring in immigrants. Have they come here to replace us? They're going to try. But, we're not replaceable. See, that's the thing. And so I think the distinction has to be made that the push for immigration in this country, 95% of the lion's share, 95% of it has been through the Democrats. And you have to recognize that if you're Black, because they have a stranglehold on your vote, on your parents' vote, on your grandparents' vote. See, it never happened with me, so it's, and y'all know that. But you've got to understand that Black Republicans specifically during that time fought immigration. They were not for immigration, but they were outnumbered. Just like we're still outnumbered on the Republican side for the Democrats. And I think people have to recognize if you're going to cast your vote for anybody, it doesn't matter whether it's now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you have to look and see how it, number one, directly affects you and your family and your neighborhood and your community, and then Black folks as a whole. And y'all know when I say Black folks, I'm talking about us. Black folks as a whole, because our vote, especially at this time, is not even for us individually. Your vote is for us collectively. So choose wisely. And I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you, No Taxation. Before I get to the speakers, guys, up in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side, we got the Newstoter membership. You can become a member and support Newstoter monthly for as little as $1.75. That is on the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side. On the far right-hand side, for as little as $1.75, you can support Black-owned businesses, Black-owned content, and the largest Black curator of Black news in America today. Definitely, for those that can, we look forward to you. We definitely need your support. For those that can't, you can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today in America. That's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Same for my folks over there on YouTube. You can support us. You can see the actual link on the actual screen, newstoter.com. Customer, go ahead. You can sign up quickly, become a contributor to us monthly for as little as $1.75. If not, you can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. So we got some speakers up here. First, I see we got Richard. Richard, I know you up here in a professional punter. Do you guys want to say anything? Do one of you guys want to speak and say anything? You up here in the speaker section. Would you like to say something, add to the conversation tonight? I guess that's a no. Okay, so you guys don't want to say anything. That's cool. That's fine. Let me go ahead and get to I'm gonna get to Professor, and then I'm gonna get to you, get to you, Talent, as well. So go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, thank you again, Newstoter. I just
Wait, hold on real quick, Professor. I saw Richard was coming off his mic. Richard, did you want to say something? Okay, I guess he didn't want to say. You want to say something, Richard? You good? Okay, Professor, you go ahead, and I don't think he's going to say anything.
Okay. Thank you again, Newstoter, for allowing me to speak. I just want to piggyback off of what Sister No Taxation basically just said as we talk about this whole immigration ordeal since 1965. I just want to say, as we move deeper into this election season, everybody, remember, if you put in your faith in some fat white man by the name of Trump, that he's going to go out here and deport all of these people, I would buy you some land right now if you believe that's going to happen. Because I don't put no faith in none of that. Any of them. But what we better do is try to drop me.
You say drop you, DJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Professor.
If you believe that this man, Trump, is going to do anything to help Black America or deport all of these people, I would buy you some land. And you already know that's not going to happen. So I don't have to worry about buying any of you land, because it's not going to happen. Those folks are not going to do anything to help Black America move these people up out of here. Okay? And the problem with Black America, which has gotten us in trouble over the years, we only vote when it comes to presidential elections. And this is why we in this, I was about to cuss, but excuse my friend, this is why we in the fiasco that we are in. We got to change it up, y'all. The most important elections are really the ones that are right there in your local area. That's right. That's what we need to be trying to do, and we need to be looking at people that are running on policies that can benefit your family and our people as a group. Black Americans have to start thinking on a collective unit and stop all this individualism that is hurting us, and that's why we're in the situation that we are in. It's not benefiting us, and that's why the other groups, as Mark is saying, we got to be on the supremacist level. He's saying it. He's saying it the whole time. I love the fact that he's saying it because it's true. The other groups are thinking on supremacist level, and we are not doing it. And we keep thinking on the level of, well, I got the kumbaya with everybody. And that's what's gotten us in trouble. We got the kumbaya with everybody. We got to be out on the front lines with other groups to protest and fight with other groups. We just can't do it anymore. And I'm going to tell you something. As Mark is talking about his grandmother, I'm thinking about my mother, because I know I have told y'all in spaces about what my mom was about. My mom was on that. Oh, she was on it. When I say she was on that black supremacist stuff, she was on it. She couldn't stand them. Okay? She really couldn't stand these folks. And I think I told y'all the story at the time when we was at a grocery store. And as me and my mom got back in the car after coming out of that grocery store, that was a white kid sitting in his car. And this kid, we wasn't bothering this kid, but this kid decided to throw his little finger out the car, you know, the middle finger. And my mom said, well, I got something for that. She reached over in the glove compartment and pulled out her 357. See? So when I was, and I thought about that as Mark was talking about his grandmother, where I'm thinking about my mom, how she was. So as we think about this election season, remember, we are all we have. And then we got to be on some black supremacy type stuff, period. I'm going to land right there.
All right. Appreciate that, Professor. Let me give a shout out to my man Nightfall Drop for his contribution on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get to I'm gonna get to the New Negro Republic, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get to you, Black Vanguard and Original.
Hey, good evening, peace and love. You hear me well?
Yeah, do you got a headset on, Talent?
You know I do. I got AirPods, man. I'm moving.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of we kind of need if anybody can take their headset off because it's kind of hard to hear you with the headset on. But go ahead.
Can I talk louder? Is that better?
It's a little bit better, but go ahead.
All right. What I want to say quickly is immigration negatively impacts the Black community, as we know. When you look at it from a timeline of history, it plays out cinematically. We got some major wins, quote, in the 1960s. When it came to civil rights legislation, Mark Carter was on the stage. He could talk to the HUD Act in '68. We talk about the White House Conference document, that policy directive to fulfill these rights that came in '66, and then we see what happened as immigration began to implode in our communities. One of the things that is important to note is sanctuary city establishments began to happen in the '70s and the '80s as well. I believe in the '80s. New York City, '89, became a sanctuary city. And there's stories about Dominican drug cartel lords that was up here transporting all this goddamn drugs in and out of the city that was able to kind of like escape back to their countries. So when we think about some of the criminality that impacted our community between the 70s and the 90s, based on mass immigration and immigration happening to our communities, we can see that there's an influx of individuals that were negatively impacting our community. When we look at the flat blackness, when we start to think about the Caribbean and the African, or more so Caribbean at that point, when the 70s, 80s, Africans in the 90s and 2000s, the interest of Black America began to change. Individuals started to, quote, cosplay and or represent us in a way that would speak against our interests. And then I think it leads to where we are right now, where you have people pledging allegiance to other countries because they're not American. And I think one of the biggest things that have impacted us in this country when it comes to immigration is individuals that have a love and a care to see this nation be a better nation, and individuals that don't give a shit about this country.
Hey, language.
My bad. Who don't really care about the country, that just want to get what they can get from it. And that puts us in a position where oftentimes than not, we only stuck in a room with some of the crazy or some of the, America First whites who, and who claim that they care about the country, right? But they haven't went outside to go against this hundred millions and billions of dollars that's going out to all these other countries. But I do think that immigration has negatively impacted us. And I think whether you're in the North or the South, if you're in a Democratic city, take a walk to your local restaurants, take a walk to your local stores, who's running a gas station, who's running a grocery store, who's running a supermarket, the laundromat. Like, where is the actual blue-collar labor within our communities? And have we been usurped on a foundational level when it comes to just the basic services and the basic essential job opportunities that we have? And I'm not saying that individuals are not able to compete, right? I do believe that we have to recognize more businesses, for-profit, non-profits. But I do know that after the wins that we achieved in the 60s, it was a serious concerted effort to undermine us as we began to integrate into the broader, quote, white dominant society by finding different type of labor forces to push again to ascend to a higher level. And we can see how we've been undermined, and to the point where we are right now, where we own less than 0.5%. We've lost home ownership. We lost the Black business community. We had thriving neighborhoods that had things even after certain things been attacked. And at this point, I don't even know how much representations we own in some of these major cities outside of one or two novelty restaurants that, we could say everybody goes to. But collectively, I don't see enough business ownership. And when you look around, the majority of people that's providing the services in our community speak English as a second language.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you, Talent. Let me go ahead and get to the Black Vanguard. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Can y'all hear me? I'm my earphones on because I'm all about too as well though. So I have my earpod. I'm gonna speak louder too. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, but the brother says absolutely spot on. And also, a lot of people don't realize, understand that you go to most of these Caribbean, African countries. Y'all try to live the world. These Caribbeans don't get along with each other over here in their homelands where they come from. You got Jamaicans in Jamaica don't like other Jamaicans in Jamaica. You got two major political parties in Jamaica. You got the Jamaican Labour Party and National People Party in Jamaica. They be going at it with each other since the 70s and 80s over there in Jamaica. Then you got the Haitian Jamaicans. See, a lot of the wars going on in Florida, a lot of that stuff was going on between the Haitians and Jamaicans over there because the Haitians and Jamaicans don't get along with each other over there. The Bahamians don't like the Haitian Jamaicans over there. You go to most of these African countries, they're very tribalistic. They do that tribalism and they problems from their home. They said, bring it over to you. So a lot of our people, we've been trying to warn the Pan-Africanist community because I used to be a Pan-Africanist. I used to rock Pan-Africanist real heavy, you know, before I woke up. We warned the Count of 10, D9s, and the Town of 10 D9s, the Anacobras, the Narcs, the NAACP, and the Urban League Jacksonville. We warned them and stuff like that. These immigrants are here to replace you. They don't get along with each other over in their homelands where they come from. How we supposed to get along with them? They don't get along with each other back in their homelands where they come from. Then they start attacking Black Americans in Florida, especially in South Florida, with the Cubans, with Fidel Castro got his jails and brought a criminal class from Cuba. So y'all understand, living in Miami, the whole city of Miami was created off of crack cocaine, which was the Haitians, Jamaicans, and the Cubans brought that a lot of that stuff over here, especially in the East Coast and the Florida area. They brought a whole lot of that stuff and decimated our communities, the Haitians, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and the Cubans. So y'all that live in the East Coast and the Florida area, you know, that decimated the community. So that's true. And also is that these immigrants, they don't benefit our community, they to our detriment. Like the Dr. Clark Anderson said, is that we've been listening to, like, we actually own more wealth doing segregation versus them. See, my grandmother, she didn't like these white folks either. Yeah, but we got that integration stuff with Black related Negroes, though. Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr., yeah, he was part of it. I think the Alpha Gamma Sigma, that Black related warrior fraternity, he actually woke up his last 3 years and he said he integrated Black people to a burning house, which he actually did. Where he was trying to undo everything, that's where they took him out. See, the Black bourgeoisie Goulet, where the D9s, the NAACPs, the urban leagues, they've never been for overall best collective of Black American society collective. They've been to our detriment ever since they do that. So I would say is that they need to fund these organizations, or kind of organize these so-called Black bourgeoisie organizations. Now, one thing I know, she got a lot of these Black bourgeoisie organizations. You got them in both the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. You also got a lot of them slithering to the Independent Party, the D9s and all the other organizations. Now, you got a few of them that's part of these organizations that's for the community, but vast majority of them are sold out for the Black community, though. So we need to abolish these so-called Black bourgeoisie organizations, put our own grassroots organizations that's for the community, though. Now, I respect the Mark Carter's, though, that he's actually thrown his own Black caucus, though, and put his own candidates on here to get these Black related organizations out the way, though, because they've been from our community for the last 100 years, so that's all I got to say to them.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Black Vanguard. Shout out to EHZ for the contribution on Cash App as well too. Let me go ahead and kick it back to original. We got a bunch of people up in here as well too. So hopefully we can get some of our people in the listeners section to come up here and speak as well too. I see Black Majority State. Shout out to Black Majority State up in the space. I see Rella up in here as well too. We got Sister Sean coming up here. So you guys definitely don't be shy. Come on up here. We want to hear what you guys got to say as well, too. Also, for those that can support on Cash App, $ Newstoter. And for those that want to become monthly contributors on the Newstoter.com platform, it's up in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side. Same for the people on YouTube. It's on the actual screen, the Newstoter.com customer portal link. So definitely click that And for as little as $1.75 a month, you can support newstoter.com. Let me go ahead and get to Original. And any other new speakers come up here, just raise your hand and we'll get to you. Go ahead, Original.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on something that Professor said, earlier about the local and state voting. See, he's right about that. I attended a candidate forum, I think it was last Thursday. And so what they did not expect, because I called a couple of them and I talked to them over the phone before I got there. And when I got there, they were all there. Everybody that was running was there. And I asked them, I said, listen, this district is majority black. And I want to know, what are you going to do to represent black America? And they started looking scared because I would put the question to them. I said, look, I read your platforms. Some of you have cited what you're going to do for the gay community and this and that, but none of you cited what you're going to do for black Americans, and we are the majority in this district. And that right there is real. And someone tried to stand up. One guy stood up and said, well, I'm more pro-black than somebody. I think his wife is on the council now. I don't care about that. I don't know what you're going to do for black American that's here, the indigenous black American. And they really had, one lady stood up talking about black and brown. I don't really like no black and brown. Take that somewhere else. Those people don't like us. So they ain't not, see, again, until we start to bum rush these people and put them on blast like that, because I let them know that, look, if you are not going to represent the majority that's in this district, but you think you will take the majority's vote and represent all these demographics except for us, don't look for a vote for me. Oh no, that's not happening. And that's what's been going on, is that it's not enough of us putting the business on these people to let them know that we're not down with that anymore. That's old. That's dead. And if you're not going to represent us, don't run. Because the days of taking the black vote and representing everybody else except for black America, that's dead. Because I remember hearing this broke Pan-African when our great Smokey Robinson, he said, don't call him an African American. He said to call him an African American is to ignore all the accomplishments that black Americans made in this country. And you had a lot of these broke Pan-Africans, they had an issue with that. But I'm rocking with Smokey, he's right. Do not call me an African American. I've always just called myself black or black American. And that's what people do not want to understand, is that we are not what's the brother name? Black Apple Network. He said, we're not just all one black Negro. He said, no, we are different. And I just want people to understand that what Professor said is real, is that we must start, going after these people on the local, state, and at least on the local and state level. Because that's where the majority of that's how the money gets divvied up. Money is sitting down from the federal government. It gets divvied up. But if we got an agent in there that's going to work against our best interests, that's not doing us any good. And like brother said about these organizations like the NAACP Urban League, those are perception management spy organizations, and they are designed to impede the procreation and the progress of black America.
And brother, don't forget the divine knowledge, the D9s too as well.
Yeah, the D9 too. That's what they go out there and they give the perception that they're doing great work in the community. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not doing anything. Those are spy organizations. We have to look at them. Now you see a lot of black folks out front. I remember when that Clippers owner said all those racist things about Magic Johnson and others. That's who they were in and he made that black guy get out there and say he was a good white boy or a Jewish boy or whatever, But I'm all laying on that and let someone else come up.
All right. Appreciate that, Original. Appreciate that. Sister Sean, I know you came up here. Florence, did one of you guys want to speak? I know you're up here in the speaker section. Did you guys want to add something?
Yeah, I do. I want to speak. I want to say that the one thing we have to look at, we're not dependent on anybody to save us. We have to do that ourselves. But what we're looking at is a track record of what people have done in the past for us, or have done in the past that benefited us. And I don't know how any black man can say or really be so against Trump. And for Biden, when all those black men that are in prison, Trump was letting them out as fast as he could. Over 60% of them are innocent, just didn't have the money to fight the case and just took deals. The last time I looked, it was a man had stayed there 48 years. From 18 years old to 48 years, and he was innocent. And I see this all the time, over and over and over again. How do you ignore that? Not only did he let them out, he got people, the companies, I'm going to say this again, I've said this before, he got companies gave them a tax deduction to hire them. They were a little apprehensive at first. They hired these black men, and he was released from prison. They were there the first one there in the morning, and the last one to leave. The company said, we want more of them, because they was happy to have a chance again. Now, why do we always, just think about it, everybody that have held a top political position in this country, from President Obama, he wasn't from here, his father wasn't from here, his mother was white. Kamala Harris, she's not from here, she's from, her lineage is from India. We know how they feel about black people. She proved how she felt. The way she just insulted black people over and over and over. Put all these black men, had 2 black men on death row. Knew they were innocent, but wanted to show how tough she was when she became an attorney general. You got to execute somebody. She didn't execute nobody. She had nobody on death row for 2 black men. They finally was able to go and appeal their case, and they was exonerated. A young black man gave him 50 years. He wasn't even in town when his friend died. Wouldn't turn over the state evidence. He was able to appeal his case, exonerated. This is what you have and everybody just running after her. She put almost 3,000 black women in jail. Arrested them. They lost their home, lost their children for what do you call it? Late bringing their children to school. This woman, she's not. She's black. You running for her. She talked to black people. Well, I'm not going to do anything just for black people. But she did something for Asian people. And that she won. She said she was Asian Pacific. She wasn't black anymore. How you can be insulted over and over and over again. I haven't even got to Biden yet because I don't want to take up too much time. He don't want his children integrated with black and become a jungle with black kids. Because I talked about black kids now. Then he said, not to mention the crime bill, how he talked about black people. And all the black Democrat Congressional Black Caucus voted for it. So you're looking at, what are you talking about? When Kanye wanted to, Ice Cube wanted to meet with them. Trump said, come on. Kamala Harris and I said, well, after the election. What after the election? You want to talk about what you want to do before the election. So insulting. Over and over. There's so many things Kamala Harris did and Biden did during the election, even when they were campaigning. It's so many things Biden have done since. Every speech he made, he insulted us. How are we so stupid that we can't see that? Just totally insult you over and over and over again. We have allowed so many people to come here and get into a political position. They insult us. I think the first person to start talking about I can't think of the name right now. He's running for governor of Michigan somewhere. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stop Black history. Can you imagine that? I think we desensitized. Maybe we have to be. because we've gone through so much. Maybe we can't even take it. Just it goes in, and we just roll right off of us, and we just don't even understand the insult that we are taking, as if we don't have children. Just got to grow up in this society, in this country that our ancestors worked so hard and built and gave everything. Built everything. Now they gave everything to the world, and you let these people come here and step on you, and you want to put everybody above you. All these top positions have been held by someone that's not even a part of your lineage. And you're satisfied with that. You couldn't go to India and hold no position. You couldn't go to Africa and hold no political position. In fact, you can't even say nothing about them. I see what they're complaining over here. We've been waiting over 3 months and we don't have a place. You haven't gotten a place. How you come here and complain to this government? You can't say nothing about the corrupt government over there in Africa. And you gonna come here and try to stand in the government face. You see, we just over and over insulted. You know, it's not that anybody's gonna save you because you're unsavable, most of you. You know, it's pathetic. But I tell you one thing, I want to go with the one who got a track record and the one who's willing to sit down and talk about the issues that we are having. Dr. Claude Anderson said he went to the White House, went to talk to Congress about the impact of immigration on Black people. They all ran to the bathroom and wouldn't come out like some little kids. What kind of nonsense is this? You know, so I'll stop there. But you keep going, and 20 years from now, 30 years from now, where will your children be? You know, where would they be? You're ignoring everything. You're going by what these Democrats are saying. You're going by the media. You need to learn how to do some investigation and thinking for yourself, for your own children, for your own sake. This is pathetic. We're at the foot of society right now. Right now, we're at the foot of society. You ought to be encouraging your children to have more babies. Oh, if abortion. Kamala Harris, that's her number one pet peeve. She ain't never had a child. And encouraging these little 18, 16-year-old children. I mean, you don't even have to get permission from your parents to go and have an abortion. We shouldn't want that. We want more children. You know, we should be on a mission promote our young men and women to have children to get along. It should be a male and black woman, black female relationship going on all the time. We need to bring our people together. One other thing I want to say, I live around a lot of Mexicans. I lived in Hacienda Heights. I see how their people come. They don't have to say that much because their representatives come and they go and talk to them. They let them know everything that's going on. They just ripping this government off. They get so much money. Our people don't even know about it. They get so much money. So are the Africans. I know so many things they're doing to get money, and we don't even know about it, you know. So we're just sitting there, complaining because you got politicians that you've given all your life to. You turn your future over to them, and they haven't gave one hoot about you. They're selfish, greedy, dirty, low-down people. And I wouldn't cast a vote for any of them. I think Julian Bond, when he was a delegate, the Democrats wouldn't even let him sit with them. The Republicans told him, well, come over here and sit with us. That's how your Democrats are. And you want to support them. They come with you skinning and grinning, and you just fall over heels in love with them. Stop looking at people for color and look at policy. Look at where your children are going to be. Who's going to represent your children? If they don't do it, then next year you go take them out or go vote them out. You know. But at least you should look at and think about, we're so selfish. We don't think other people plan for their children. You should see how happy the little Mexican children are. Oh, in California, little black kids look so sad because they know don't nobody love them. And this is a sad thing. And I'll stop there because I don't want to take all the time.
All right. Thank you, Miss Florence. I appreciate you coming up here tonight. Thank you, sweetie. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, DJ Original.
Hey, what's up?
How are you guys?
We making it for a Monday.
Good. Shout out to the space. I sat in, I listened to Angela Stanton's and Taji's space. I think Isaiah was in there yesterday. And I'm listening to, I believe that's Miss Florence. She sounds like a elder woman. And, this stuff didn't happen overnight. This is not just because Biden got into office, this was a overnight situation. Immigrants actually came into this country at a record number during the course of slavery, closer towards emancipation and well after. Martin Luther King Jr. Actually talks about it. And then we have another high number, record number, 10 million, right? And during those times, it was about two separate times. It was about 4.6 million and then 1.6 million separate time. And you have to remember, if you are in your elder age and you were not in public office, local, state, and federal, the complicit is not it's not lost to the ones who've been voting or who just started voting. And the complicit is not just on the ones who are just now voting in the last few elections. So I heard Ms. Florence say she's going to vote for someone that has a track record. Now, if you're saying to me that I should vote for someone because they let a bunch of people out of prison and gave them jobs that they could easily be fired on as they are being fired on today, people are losing their jobs left and right. They're letting people go left and right. I guarantee you that does not change if there was no policy in place to actually make sure the undergirding of our community, the bleeding, stops. I think we are trying to find the one that will give us the best trinkets and then say, again, the lesser of two evils is the better one. And when it's really the majority rules, that means if you are in office, local, state, and federal, you have a majority vote, that rules. It's as simple as that. I no longer believe that I have to sit around and browbeat my community anymore. I don't. I think what it is now is the solution is to how do we actually move forward? And I feel like we've gotten to that point now. I don't have an affinity for people in office who ignore the bleeding. I don't care what party you vote for. If we are not running our own people and we're not putting our own people up, then we need to be definitely at referendum meetings, at county board meetings, literally talking to people who are introducing bills on the assembly floor that your senators and your congressmen who represent your districts will look at. Those are, to me, actionable items. It's easily digestible. We can talk about whoever likes who and what you think somebody did. Well, the writing is on the wall. It has not had any impact. Matter of fact, what I got from Angela's response yesterday is she understands the gatekeeping that happens, even in the Republican Party. Because she was talking about Miss Angie's house, and she was talking about how the executives around Trump will no longer allow her to have even a connection with her, a communication line with her in regards to the projects that she's working on as far as when it comes to infant mortality, reproductive rights, those are still forms of reparation. Those are forms of reparative compensatory justice. And it's crazy, when I was listening to her talk, the room full of white folks that follow her came in, and they don't even acknowledge us as American. They call us, they just say, oh, we're, black. What the black people need. We are Americans. We are descendants. And we are being genocided out. If you're talking about reproductive rights, you're talking about the right to life. You're talking about a man and a woman's right to life. That includes a reparations package. That is a compensatory issue. She was saying that we need to work on not using the term reparations. And I posted that file that I had in regards to all of the groups who received reparations before the Japanese and after. And now all of a sudden, the immigrants who are running a lot of the positions of authority have a problem with the term reparations. They have a problem with the term repairing the descendants. That's what they have a problem with. And because we are not in a position of authority, we believe that it's about some sort of party picking of the party. No, it's really about putting ourselves in a position to write our own bills and pass them, protect ourselves, and getting those things done. Working with the people who, until we can get enough states with authority to actually challenge the rest or the other better half of the United States, we have to work with what we have. And we have to learn how to be strategic and stealth. Like, I feel like, and I think that we have done enough saturation online that we have to saturate more on the ground. You have to get out and start talking to people. I don't care what your age is. Because if you believe that just the minimum people who voted in the last 10 years have some affinity for our government, I would say that is not true if you are not on the ground, if you're not in the grassroots. If you're more so online, you're watching TV or listening to maybe podcasts and whatever else, and listening to the few people that support the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, then you have lost the battle, because the battle is actually in the community. It's on the street. It's actually the people who you need to talk to who are actually the majority voters. We are but a few in the space, but there are many of us who are having these conversations on the ground level, and they're asking, what do we need to do? So all of us need to be saturating your areas in your community, talking to people, finding out how to get them to vote in the way that we want our votes to work for us, until we can get a majority population of people, representatives who are descendants or who will vote in our favor in office. That's the reason why Black majority states and Black American homelands structure in regards to moving to a place where you have a population that can do that. If you're still in California, and I hate to say it because my family is still there, part of them, immediate, then you have lost, because you will not win those voters over. If you are, I believe, anywhere west or Midwest right now, and you're not in a Black majority or majority population where majority of the population are Black, and you have the ear to the floor, or even the people who are fed up with what's happening, you have lost. If you are not on the ground, if you don't even know the homeless population in your county, city, in your state, then there's no chastisement that can come without actual real work actually being actually realized. I don't care about some little Mexican kids smiling and laughing. What I care about is where are we going to go into the future so that way we can save ourselves and our legacies that will eventually come after us. And right now, it's leaning towards the East Coast, the southern part of the East, where the populations of Black people are moving in record numbers. That's it, point blank. Reparations is a federal as well as a state and local issue. If you are not in the fight for that and you're not adding that into your arsenal when you're having conversations with people, then you have lost. There's no need to blame anyone at this point, because I believe we all can look in the mirror at that juncture, because we didn't all have this knowledge that we have today on how to move in a groundswell and as a collective. We were all over the place trying to figure out who was going to be the lesser of two evils. So I have records and receipts. I have information. I know how to research. I can pull information. You will not see me taking pictures with criminals. You will not see me taking pictures with people who have done harm and committing genocide on Black people in record numbers. But what you will see is that there is a movement happening, and we don't have to have the conversation on every little thing that we do online. I think if you really want to get involved, you have to start literally at your local board meetings, county meetings, pointing out the key players. And then people can help figure out how to move there. Mark has experience in that. There's a ton of people that have experience in that. The solutions have to be get active, not come on a space and literally call people everything under the sun in a shameful way. That's not how you get people to actively move. It's not. It actually turns people off. As a matter of fact, it creates splinters and fractures. That's what we're dealing with now. And then we keep trying to have these conversations, and we keep coming back to people wanting to inject how they feel and what they believe in regards to what people have done. Nobody's slate and skirt is clean when it comes to voting if you're a Black American. Because if you're not in office, you have not ran a campaign or an executive in a campaign, your skirt is not clean. You are complicit. But we can change it. We could do better. So, and we will. I think we are having these conversations, and we need to just do more on the ground floor, on the ground with each other. And that's all it. That's all I got for you. Immigration has impacted us, and you know it.
That was quite a bit, but thank you, Rella. Thank you as always. Let me go ahead and get to Mark. We're gonna get to Mark. We're gonna get to Sister Sean, and we're gonna get to Unc, and then we're gonna close this thing out for the night. You got it, Mark.
So let me say this, and you're right. It didn't start when Biden became president. It started 50 years ago when he became senator, and even prior to that. But I'm speaking on him because you brought his name up. Biden becoming vice president and president is a step down to being the United States senator. United States senators are the board members of the corporation. The president is just that. And the president is being dictated to by those senators. That's why most of those senators are those big name family members, right? Because they understand that the senators are the ones that are running the show, and they represent the 1%ers for the most part. You say we shouldn't browbeat them. I think we should browbeat them more. And as a matter of fact, if they can't take the pressure, then they should step out of position. We're too nice to cowards. We're not supposed to be nice to people who get in position and take care of themselves at the expense of the people. You're supposed to whoop them. They're not special. Once you take that position, then you must accept everything that goes with it and that comes with it. And if you don't want to be held accountable, quit. People call themselves leaders, walking into different arenas, standing out front. You ask to be whooped on if you don't do your job. Matter of fact, I think that's where most of our problems come from. That these people self-appoint. And then when you say something about them, then they want to play victim. Especially y'all as women, y'all really do. Even when y'all doing evil stuff, no different than that evil Jim Clyburn and Danny Davis, them old black men that play the old senior game, that play the senior position when they get called out. No, I don't think we whoop on them enough. Whoop them some more.
All right. Appreciate that, Mark. Oh, you got something else to say, Mark?
Go ahead. Go to somebody else.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get to Sister Sean. Sister Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, peace and power to the room. I just really want to keep a basic principle with my observation with immigration. And here's what I want my people to understand and know. Things are out of hand. But then again, they're not. They're not in that we have an ace in a hole. And even though it's imbalanced, it's unfair, we understand the crookedness in all of it. But here's how we can leverage this. Here's one thing that they can never tell us is that you can't do it and that you don't have enough. Because they have actively, in front of our own eyes, demonstrated that you can do it. You can do it for people who are illegal in this country, who haven't had paid not one tax dollar. When you got the descendants of the U.S. chattel slavery, freedmen, sitting here, been here 50, 60 years paying taxes, yeah, you can do it, see, say, puede. That's what Obama, remember that was to say, yes, you can. Si se puede. I'm going to throw that shit right back at it. Si se puede.
Hey, Sean, your language, sweetie.
Okay, sorry with the language. Okay, but they done demonstrated that they can do it. Not only can you do it for illegals, but you can do it for foreigners with foreign aid. The billions of dollars, 90 billion, Ukraine and Israel just last week. What are we doing? So there's nothing. Nobody is going to sail me down the river. Nobody's going to say not until next election. Nobody's going to say wait until this, that, the third, the fourth, fifth, and sixth. They have demonstrated to us what can be done immediately. And any person, these sororities, these congressional members, all these people who are supposed to be pushing our issues, we have to push them. Si se puede. I sat there and I listened to this debacle and the debate. You see, college campuses are igniting all over our country. We are igniting and fighting a fight. We're fighting a foreign war right here. This stuff is serious, y'all. I don't want to say how deep this is. This is deep. We literally have a foreign war coming to our doorstep. And this don't have nothing to do with the border. This is deeper than that. And we, as freedmen, we are smack dab in the middle of this mess.
If you don't understand how deep and dangerous this is, then you need to think about it. But let me tell you what they were debating so quickly. Everything that you're looking across the nations, the first thing they said, we want to combine movements. The anti-Ukrainian war with the anti-Israel war. Make it one for anti. See how quickly they're saying, oh, we've got all these different groups. I sat there and listened to them. We've got all of these different groups. We got to put it all aside. Right now, we are anti-war. Right now, they're mobilizing on these campuses, these Ivy League schools. They're trying to juxtapose the Ukrainian war, anti-Israel and anti-Ukraine. They want to divest it all. And they'll do it. And they said, put your differences aside. This is about ending war. And I couldn't say, but this is how you do it. Why can't we put our differences aside? This is about reparations. You see the difference? And I'll land right there.
All right. Thank you, Sister Sean. Unc Rock, you had your hand up. Did you still want to speak, or you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I came in kind of late, so I'm good. So thank you for the opportunity.
Now, forever hold your peace, bro.
Yeah, I get it. So I'm good.
All right, no problem. Well, DJ, I'll go ahead and let you get it in, and we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out.
All right, I'll try to be quick about this because it's a little bit of a story. My bad, just running around today. Shout out to the family, Newstoter family. What's good? How y'all doing tonight, brother? What's good, sister? Let me know when you need some of the QR code flyers. Sound like I'm gonna swoop you over, boo. But yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all a little story that happened to me last summer, man. So y'all know I'm up here in Jersey. It's Pan-African Central, aka Tetherville. So again, the only tethers is those that are against Black Americans and against our reparations. That's just my opinion on it. You can feel how y'all feel about it. So I had one of the African homies come to me last year and said, hey, I'm thinking about going back home because, my kids, they get into high school now or over in the country he's from in Africa. And, I just want to be there for them or whatever the case be. So I said, what's stopping you from just leaving or whatever? He was like, well, I did come here legally under any circumstances. I came off a work shift dealing with my cousin, who when I got to the port, I think he said he was in somewhere in New York. He landed at a port, and when he Elizabeth. He landed in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the port out there. So when he got here, he wound up calling his cousin just to say hello to him and see if he could just visit for a quick second. You know what I mean? And the cousin wound up telling him, like, yo, just get off the ship. Don't go back. Come stay with me and stay here. And I got the business and everything. What you do? You know what I'm saying? He got a multi-million-dollar war working business. We'll say that. His cousin. So the African cat that I'm helping, had wound up helping, he wound up actually been here for about 5 years. So I said, hold up a minute. The whole time you was here, you wasn't trying to become a legal citizen, pay taxes. I'm breaking this stuff down to him. All this other stuff. He was like, no, I don't know any of that stuff. The moment I came here, I just been working every day for the most part for my cousin. So I said, how much your cousin paying you and all this other stuff since you've been working with him for the last 5 years? And he told me the money. I said, bro, your cousin is enslaving you, bro. He enslaving you, man. You know what I mean? He paying you this amount of money, which is pretty much minimum wage for the particular woodworking job that they do. And I'm talking custom woodworking, you know what I mean? Top of the line, fabrication or whatever. So I had an uncle, or got an uncle rather, who's well retired from that same industry. And let me tell you, he been retired for a while. He get his money. All he do is chill, watch TV, and drink all day. You know what I mean? So he been well retired. So I know for a fact how much money you should be making because my uncle was pulling in well over $1,000 every week, and this was in the 80s, all through the 90s. So I know when he retired, that checks was fat as hell. So to make a long story short, I said, hey, bro, I don't think that's a good idea that you even decide to go back, right? At least not right away, because of two things. One, we're in an election year. So considering the way that you actually came over here, you might not even make it back to your homeland, let alone get an opportunity to come back here. And then the other thing is too, okay, well, if you're going to go just turn yourself into the embassy, How your money looking? If your cousin wasn't paying you what you were supposed to be getting paid, he barely give you your money when you work 40 hours a week. And then the other thing is you don't really got money like that. So what was the whole purpose of you being here all these years just to go back home, see your family, and you don't even got anything to show for it? So if you is going to just turn yourself in and just go back on a humbug, at least wait to after the election and stack your bread as much as possible and then roll back. Because again, the way I look at it, the way these Africans be doing their own people and how immigration is, they might turn around and hem you up, enslave you, 12 years slavery. I'm running it down on them. So he didn't understand none of this stuff. So he basically called me back about 2 weeks later. He was like, yo, I made an appointment with an immigration lawyer in Manhattan. I took him out there, everything, wrote him back. So hopefully he do get his paperwork because he ain't a bad person. And he always looked out for me and people in his neighborhood. See what I'm saying? But his cousin, straight snake gang. And I used to work for him as far as doing like certain delivery. He'll call me on the hump. Like, hey, I need you to do a drop for me. Go for some furniture or go pick something up. I ain't heard from him since. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that because you a snake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going to snake your whole family like that. You know what I'm saying? And not even, you know, if you told him to get off the ship and come here and chill or do whatever it is, at least help him out wholeheartedly and make sure he's doing the right thing. He ain't got no status in this country, no tax return. There's nothing here, yo. So you've been here all this time not paying taxes. You can't even get a job right now if you even wanted to. So your cousin screwed you over. So he getting an understanding now, but this is the narrative that what Dr. Claude Anderson has always said to us. They're not coming here to be your friend. They're coming for resources, man. So I'll yield there. Good night, folks.
All right. Appreciate that, DJ. Appreciate Original serving as a co-host as well, too. So shout out to all the speakers and the listeners tonight. Everybody, we appreciate you guys coming in. We'll be doing another space sometime this week. I'm not entirely sure because I got some other stuff I got to do. So just check the notifications when you guys see it. Go ahead and retweet it out as well, too. So thank everybody for coming into the space tonight. We'll see you guys. Be safe. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace. Come over to the next page.
Oh, you got a space coming up?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually talk about the same thing, but I want y'all to hear this interview about these. They had a African hearing up in New York over here, saying that the Africans are being discriminated against when it comes to the immigration reform, and that everyone else that is an immigrant is getting tangibles, this, that, and the third, while they not getting nothing and also getting harassed and all this other stuff. So yeah, just come on over here, listen to this council interview, y'all.
All right, peace, everybody.
Y'all, DJ Space, y'all. Part 2.
Peace to everybody on YouTube as well. See you guys.